Welcome back to Echo Ridge and another episode here in our Timberborn series. All of our beavers are currently sleeping, and I do hope they get a good amount of rest because we have a lot of work to do. We're sitting at a 14 well-being, which isn't too shabby, but there's still plenty of other additions we could do to make it a little bit better. Because you'll notice a lot of our beavers are getting a 60% working speed bonus, whereas some of them are still stuck at 40. The difference being a well-being of 10 versus a well-being of 15. We also have a doubling of the life expectancy bonus once we hit well-being 17. So I think today's goal for well-being at least is going to be 17. We might try to do some of the fun activities, although you'll notice like in social life, only about half the beavers are hitting the contemplation spot. We did lower the amount of work they have to do per day, so they do have time to hit it. They're just not doing it. Both of them do have access to the path. It's just not very popular. I'd also like to get our grubby hands on the observatory. We're almost up to 1,000 science to where we can unlock it. Unfortunately, we will need 30 gears, 80 planks, and some resin. So that's going to be great. Unfortunately, it also looks like it's going to take 4 beavers to work there. Not too big of a deal because, well, right now we have 4 inventors. So when we replace all the inventors, they can just go work in the observatory. Despite our growth, though, we only have 1 unemployed beaver. Well, make that 2. As more of them end up growing up, we'll have a couple more beavers ready to go to work. But it's probably also time to add another layer of lodges. Of course, that is going to take a couple of platforms. We could do the single platforms and just go up with them, or we could unlock the rare double platform. The advantage being a single platform costs 6 planks, the double platform only costs 8 planks. And look how beefy and tall that is. So let's go ahead and unlock that and put me even further away from the observatory. And then I will add some here, even though we are hurting on planks. What else is new? I can actually get rid of this one here. And once those are finished, we can start adding more lodges. I don't know what the final count of beavers is going to be. All I know right now is that we need more. We are also busy filling up our wonderful medium tanks of water. Right now we're sitting at 332, but we are climbing just as fast as these water pumps can go. Another thing that's helping us now that we're on day 2 of cycle 5, the water is flowing again, so that means power is going, which I did learn a couple of useful tips from the comments once again. Apparently when buildings are connected, you don't have to extend the power shaft. So in the interest of recovering some wonderful logs and testing that theory, we are going to do exactly that. And look at that, we still have power. Which makes me think, well, all of our power buildings should be touching. We do have this geothermal field up here that's going to be able to provide us a bunch of power. According to the tooltip, 400 horsepower. And we actually have enough to unlock it. The issue is it's sort of further away, and we don't have a lot of sweet transportation methods yet. Eventually we'll be able to build zip lines, but those are going to require some metal. But the great part of this area is the fact that it is flat. We'll have a bunch of power there. In the meantime, though, I think we'll just deal with this area here. We finally have gears backed up a little bit, so planks should start backing up. One of the issues with recording YouTube videos is I'm always trying to build an episode that has good content. So just as soon as I finish a building, well, it's time to put up another building. But I suppose in this case, it would be smart for me just to relax for a little bit, let the beavers do some work, and then we'll carry on from there. I do need to start planning, with that being said, our bad water diversion system. You'll notice right now up here, there's bad water that is flowing down through here, hits this waterfall, and then exits the map here. Well, there's some bad tide drains here. And while it's a little difficult to see, you know exactly what's going to happen. It's going to fall down through here, hit this inlet, and then traverse our main water line. What I would like to do is reroute it to where it heads directly off the map by joining in with this river. Unfortunately, you don't get to dynamite and explosives until once again you're sitting at metal. And they also require a fair bit of science too. Otherwise, what's going to happen to our land is exactly what you see here. Notice it's sort of poisoned. If I get off the construction menu, it's a little bit easier to see the bad water. and that will impact our crops. So the further we can keep it away, the better. Something else I'm taking a look at is where our closest ruins are, because we are not too far away from wanting to be able to grab some metal. And it looks like each one of them is pretty far away, although this one here is definitely the largest. This one over here does have an underground ruin, which is basically the infinite supply of metal. This one here also has an underground ruin, although it's very high up on the ridgeline. But this one right here might be the best for our initial scrap metal gathering. You'll notice in the past couple of cycles we're now up to 7 unemployed beavers, so we could send some over there. If we go to metal, all it would take is a scavenger flag. Eventually we'd want to smelt it to turn it into the usable metal, but for now, all we would really need is a scavenger flag. And while we're over here, we can also do some additional farming. The problem is, what's the best way to get over there? To tell you the truth, I would love to just dynamite through this, and that way the beavers have a pretty clear shot to get to it. So maybe that's what I concentrate on the advancement, is the dynamite and explosives. After all, it is one of our most urgent needs to be able to clear the path for the bad water. Well, if we go under our landscaping, you can see the first step would be the explosives factory, which will cost me a little bit of metal, which requires the smelting like we were talking about, and it also requires bad water. In order to gather it, I'm going to need a bad water pump and a location to siphon the bad water from. So I think we do have some positive goals for the next couple of episodes. Step 1, unlocking the observatory, because I'm getting tired of just saving up all my science just to drain it a little by little. And this observatory is going to greatly increase our science rate. Although look at it, it requires 200 horsepower. We're going to be moving all these inventors anyways. So maybe I just build some platforms and stuff up here. This might be a good spot for the observatory. It's not too far away from our primary colony. Okay, let's make a plan. I think it's got to start with removing this lumberjack flag and getting rid of all 4 of these pines. And that way I have a place I can put a path, a bridge, stairs, more stairs. It won't be pretty yet, but we'll get there. Look at the beavers doing such a great job taking down the trees. I wonder where these beavers work. They are the district center beavers. They are not the holler beavers. And we can just cut it right across here. And this sort of makes sense because this is our primary route. Now the question is, what do I do to get across the river? We have a few different options. We could go with the amazing suspension bridge. Unfortunately, it cost 1,000 science, although relatively cheap with only 20 logs and 20 planks. So looks like platforms it'll be at 6 planks apiece. Definitely want to use the platforms because I don't want to impede any of the water flow here. Oh, is that too high? Okay, no, it's perfect. Let me also extend the path already over into some stairs. Oh yeah, I think this is just going to have to be some ugly, ugly triple stairs. We'll put a platform behind here and then more stairs. It's not too shabby, I suppose. We can also go and take down all these oaks. We're going to need to do it because we're going to want the space. Granted, there went all my planks that I just had saved up. I'm doing it. I'm adding a temporary 3rd lumber mill. While the beavers are doing that, we have just surpassed 1,000 science, so it is time to unlock the mighty observatory. Unfortunately, it means I also need to grab some sap, though. Look how big and glorious this building is. I mean, maybe it could go right here. No, it's fine. We're going to keep up with the original plan. Since we're not using it, and I'm going to need a tapper here soon, I'm going to demolish this warehouse and take a look at the tapper shack. Before I can build the observatory, I need to get some pine resin. Man, this is going to take another 500? Science just won't quit, will it? Although we do have 8 bored beavers right now, and they only take 12 logs each. So I'm just going to start littering the area with more inventors. There's already 4. That's 5. That'll be a total of 9 inventors right now. Another great tip that came from the comments, and I don't know if I would do this every time, is if I put them on a low priority workplace. Whenever there's more important things to do, well, they'll go do it instead of working on science. Since science isn't exactly something that you have to have immediately. Well, in most cases. Our temporary inventor huts are up and spinning. We are now getting 9 science per hour. Not great, but better. Our path up the cliffside is complete, so it is time to start working over here. And I suppose step 1 is going to be just removing a bunch of these logs so we have room so we can plan out some architecture. So we're going to put a lumberjack flag here, and that way they'll be able to scoop up all those logs, although it's going to be in conflict with all of these logs that beavers are trying to gather up as well. So what I'm going to do temporarily is pause from our domesticated forest, and that way we're not harvesting any logs. So we actually need some. Otherwise, the beaver would just end up sitting here because all the storages are full. But we still have to do the marked tree cutting area. There we go, and the beavers are off. Maybe I should put another one here. In fact, let's go ham and put 3 so I can clear that as quickly as possible. Another piece of storage I would love to unlock soon is the underground pile. It has the capacity to hold 1,000 logs or planks and doesn't take up any other space, which is amazing. Our 3rd lumber mill is doing good work. We're up to 60 planks already, although I'm about to ruin that because we're going to put in a whole bunch of windmills up here. Maybe it would be better to put them here, and that way I can put all the buildings closer to this path. Of course, now that I'm looking at it, I could probably save some space too by putting the path here and then removing the existing path, which brings up another great point provided by the comments. Apparently we can use the demolished buildings to remove paths instead of clicking them one by one for deconstruction, which it wasn't very intuitive, so I do appreciate the comments pointing it out, because this says demolished buildings. A path is not a building. I'm also adding another small warehouse. Since we've increased our plank production, I want to make sure we have plenty of gears as well. In other storage news, we're almost full of our 2nd tank. This process would go a lot quicker if we were using the large water pump. If you notice the difference, in a third of an hour, the regular water pump can get 1 water. The large water pump does 5 times the capacity, although it does take sparkly planks. Soon we shall have sparkly planks. I wanted to highlight how important the haulers were, especially for longer routes here. Our beavers are over here just tearing through this forest, but the lumberjacks' flags stay pretty full, and once they are, the beaver will not work. Well, with hauler beavers going back and forth, it keeps the flags not full. And for haulers, like in the case of Sir Ruff here, they can carry 4 logs at once, so it's not too shabby. But since I have a couple of unemployed beavers, what I think I'm going to do is lower the workplace priority on the hauling post and increase this all the way up to 10. And that way, whenever beavers are bored, they'll just do some hauling work. Now, I'm going to have to keep in mind what things I have on low priority. Right now, it's just the hauling post, but if you put too many things at low priority, well, then everything is de facto the same priority. Excuse me, Sam? What are you doing? There are no berries? Ooh, there are a lot of berries here, though. Let's go ahead and resume picking here. We're already at 219 logs. So the beavers are starting to run out of places to put them, although we are turning a lot of them into planks as soon as possible. But since we are getting full on logs, it's probably time to start spending them because poor Brian is very, very bored. So what we can do is start putting a little bit of the power infrastructure for the buildings that are going up here. Remember, we're just starting with the observatory, but eventually there'll be more buildings that require power up on this steep cliff? I don't know. We will also eventually get access to this geothermal field, but for right now, we do not. Which leaves us with just 1 or 2 more questions to answer. Namely, what power do we use? We could use the wind turbines like we were talking about before, although we've seen that sometimes the wind just dies. We could put some more water wheels, but then I'm going to have to get that power shaft up this cliffside, which won't be fun either. Of course, then again, if I'm going to be going up a cliffside, why don't I also just go down it from this geothermal field? It only requires 160 science to unlock, and then 30 planks and 50 logs. I think we're going to do it. Oh yeah, we're doing it. Now I just have to get up there and build a massive shaft down the side of this mountain. Mistakes were made, mistakes were made. It's going to require quite a bit of stairs to get up here, but remember, we only need to get up here once. No one works at the geothermal engine. There's a few options for us. I could just start building stairs to get up here ever so slowly, finding all these one areas and just keep going up and up and up until we eventually get to this platform. So give me a few minutes to figure out how I'm actually going to get up to the geothermal engine, and then a few more minutes to figure out how I'm going to build down. I might have bitten off more than I can chew. For the low cost of about 40 planks, I've found a path. I hope they're not afraid of heights. Now the question is, how do I get the power shaft down? Easiest method would be go straight down here utilizing the vertical power shafts. And you might be thinking, well, just put the buildings that require power up here. Unfortunately, that'd be a long route for them to travel every single day. And the power shafts aren't too bad. While the beavers are working on that, we might as well concentrate on getting the rest of the requirements for the observatory, which means I need some resin. Step 1 under wood is going to be unlocking the tapper shack for 500. We're now up to 700. And I think this spot right here makes perfect sense. It has a wide enough range where it will hit all of our trees. And we're going to be gathering the pine resin and the maple syrup. Suppose we should also put a berry gathering flag to get some chestnuts. What do I need to make chestnuts? Okay, I should have known the answer to this one. You grill the chestnuts in another grill. So I think I'm going to remove these 2 pines once again, add back our 3rd lumberjack flag, and then also put the berry gathering flag in here. I'm going to need another grill because apparently they cannot cook 2 recipes inside of one grill. Oh no, we have some stuck beavers. Oh, beavers. Because they can't go past the stairs here, so I'm going to have to deconstruct this one. Come on, buddy. Do you not know how to go because there's no path? Okay, there goes Wild Hamster. Now we just got to save Ettenwald. We'll destroy this one. And then I will just rebuild them. Well, as soon as they grab the rubble. Is anybody else still up there? Because I added so many more inventors and these gathering flags, we have 0 available beavers, so I think it is time to start adding some more lodges. I'm just going to go with 3 for now until we can move all these inventors. And I think we'll be fine on the water and food front. We're up to 1,600 food and almost 600 water. Not to mention the fact that our tapper shack is done. Right now, Ettenwald's working in it. Now we have 2 things to collect, pine resin and maple syrup. And with our beavers now gathering said maple syrup and resin, it is time to build some storage for it. I have a small tank here with a capacity of 30 for the maple syrup and the small warehouse for the pine resin. I don't know why we're keeping pine resin in boxes and not in a tank, but there it is. We also have some innate storage inside of the tapper shack. It looks like it's going to be able to hold 50 of each material as well. So 80 of each will be plenty. Work has started on our geothermal engine. Very exciting. Now I just have to figure out how to get that shaft down. So far we have a plan, although it's not great. We have a triple platform that I unlocked with a single platform on top of it just to push the shaft over a little bit further. I thought it'd be cleaner. I could have gone directly into the vertical power shaft. Let me unlock that now. And sort of staggered it down the mountain, but I figured it'd look a lot better set up just like this. Granted, it's going to take them forever to be able to do it. Mostly because, well, I have to build scaffolding for them to be able to reach all these shafts. Our 3 new lodges are in and our beavers are on the way. We are up to 37 total beavers. Do me a favor and help me keep an eye out on the grilled potatoes and the carrots. Once again, I would love to have a little graph that I could click to see our quantities over time. Now, from what I understand, beavers are able to build 1 tile above and 1 tile below them. So these first couple are going to be easy. These here shouldn't be too bad with some more well-placed stairs. But these middle ones here are going to be quite difficult. Can beavers have some jetpacks, please? And lucky us, the drought is approaching in 3 days. That'll make it day 17. I'm not too concerned. We're sitting at 2.5 medium tanks full of water. Wait a minute, now we're at 1,600 food. Are we losing food? We do have more beavers than ever before, but eventually all this industrial area is going to be more farmland as well. But step 1 is getting this process done. I suppose they're going to need a path to go over here as well. Just found another fun use for the marked resources for demolition. You can actually remove a bunch of these stumps and dead trees. Well, that's pretty convenient. I kind of feel like I'm strip mining the land, but now this entire area will be nothing but sweet, sweet industry. And look at our beautiful geothermal engine just humming along at 400 horsepower. I'm wondering if there might be a better way right here with a single platform and another stair. Depending if the beavers can stand on the stairs to build, this should give me even more leverage. We also have 2 new grills going in, one for the grilled potatoes and one for the grilled chestnuts. I'm going to be removing this one because I think this would be a great spot to plant some more potatoes. Now, with all that being said, you'll notice this one efficient farmhouse is not keeping up. These carrots haven't been harvested in quite some time, and because of it, while they do, yes, get to the carrots, these are the carrots that are furthest away, and they always start next to the efficient farmhouse. So I think it's actually time to put in another farmhouse here. I'm also going to remove this inventor, but I don't think I'll need all 3 workers. So for now, I will just drop it down to 1 worker, and I'll allow them to pick anything. And since we always seem to have a shortage of the sunflower seeds, I think I'm going to just use this space right here and plant a few more. Lots to do, beavers, lots to do. We've completely strip mined all of the dead wood over here, so I can recapture these lumber flags. And then I'll use my sweet, sweet new knowledge of demolishing buildings to remove this path. Look at this. Somehow they were able to build 4 high. I wish I could have seen how that happened. And we have now confirmed that yes, beavers can build things while standing on stairs. Somehow they're able to reach down. I don't know how that works. Give me a few minutes to watch the beavers work this power shaft, because from what it appears, they can build much further lower than I had originally suspected. One of the great things that I didn't realize at first is with the addition of these grilled chestnuts from the chestnut trees, it's going to help supplement our nutrition and food without taking any more space. We were already using the space for lumber. Now we're just also using it for chestnuts. Our drought has started. Unfortunately, it is the 6-day variety, so we will probably run out of water here. Not too big of a deal. We have plenty in reserve. But in even better news, we have completed the great shaft. So I think what I'm going to try to do is capture these materials and sort of back the way we came before we ultimately figure out where we're going to put the observatory and how we're going to connect all the future industry up here. I'm playing an interesting little game here of destroying a path and then building another shaft. We can do a couple at a time, but eventually, without the path, it would be too far away from our district building. But I think the observatory is going to end up going right here. There it is, the beginning of day 21 on Cycle 5, and, well, the river is now dried up. Our reservoir lasted between 3 and 4 days. Fear not, we have plenty of water. We're at 764. Unfortunately, that does mean a lot of our crops are going to die out. I'm not too concerned. We're up to over 1,900 food. By the way, the sweet, sweet grilled chestnuts are giving us another +2 on the well-being. But in more important news, our observatory is ready, which means I can go and destroy all of these inventor huts. Yeah, there is some benefit. You could keep them and just leave them on low priority. And when beavers don't have anything else to do, they would go to the inventor huts. And if I had just oodles and oodles of space, I would probably do that, but I don't. Since we removed these inventors, it was time to continue on with our 3rd row of lodges. It also means we could start planning our 4th row, which is absolutely wonderful. Look at the sweet, sweet science coming in through the observatory. We are now up to over 1,900 science, 1,969 to be precise. And we're coming to the end of another drought. In our next episode, I think we're going to be concentrating on industry growth once again, now that we have the nice observatory up. I think it'll start probably right here on this row and continue all the way down. And while we do have a little bit of space right here, I think we're going to concentrate all the industry here. And that way I can have storage on one side and industry buildings on the other. Although we still have a lot of work to do and a lot of ingredients to unlock. Sooner we get some bad water though, and smelting metal, the sooner I can get to the explosives factory and start grabbing some dynamite to make, a different route for the water. I'm sure it'll go fine. I hope you enjoyed this episode and are still enjoying this series. If you're looking for something to comment, tell me what you would have done differently with the Great Beaver Shaft build. So until next time, much love, happy gaming, and I'll talk to you soon.